That voice, don't come, because we don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice. And if you're worried about being marginalized and stereotyped, please don't even show up.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Black Friday, right? No. Yes. Happy Black Friday. Happy day after Thanksgiving. Happy holiday. All of those things. Um, I'm stuffed. I can't. I I woke up this morning, I, and I was in a food coma last night. I ate I ate my fill and then some. And then I just curled up in a fetal position on the sofa. And Amina said to me, because she did all the cooking, I just did my yams, and we'll talk about my yams in a minute, Diane. And I said, and I'm on the couch, and she said, Baba, the dishes need, no, she said, the food needs to be put away and the dishes need to be washed. And in my head, I didn't say it out loud, but in my head, I was like, and? I was like, and? Right? And, and then, and then, wait a minute. No, because when I cook, I clean as I go, right? So I clean as I go. So I'm listening. I tell you, after this show, because she doesn't always listen, but if she listens, and after the show, she just comes downstairs and shakes her head at me. But anyway, I was like, and then I just faded off. And the next thing you know, I woke up and she had turned all the lights off downstairs. Like just left me on the couch. Just left me on the couch. And so I got up in a stupor, went in the kitchen to see what the damage was. She had put the food away, right? And but the dishes were in the sink, and so I put on some Billie Holiday and made a cup of peppermint tea, and got the kitchen all together, and then I stumbled upstairs, showered, and then went in bed and passed out again. I tell you, that tryptophan, right, from the turkey, you know.
What time was that? Because my husband was in the bed at 9:30.
I know. I'm telling you. No, no. Listen. The tryptophan from it's real. It has a real effect on you. When people, we call it the itis, right? I don't know what white people call it, but we call it the itis, and but it is a combination of that. And also your body just processing all of that food. It's work for your digestive system to just process it all, and all of the carbs, the sugars, all that stuff that you typically don't eat, in a normal day. So you're eating all of that, and then poof, you just need to sit down and let your body work. you know so
Yes, which culminates of drifting into a nice coma until you get waken up by somebody telling you the news is on. So who was sitting around your table, Eric, with you yesterday?
oh uh just Amina. No, listen, just the two of us. I should have played that song, right? Just the two of us, right? But it was just the two of us. She cooked an amazing meal. She made, of course, dressing, right? Now, there's a difference between stuffing and dressing. But anyway, she made dressing. She took turkey breasts because for just two of us, it makes sense to buy a whole turkey. So she got turkey breast and she seasoned it and put it in the what's the thing called, the Instapot, and then she did my mama's turkey wings. So she called my mama and got my mama's recipe for her turkey wings. So she did those. And
She in.
oh, hey, listen. You understand? Listen. And my mother said, she said, I guess it's time for me to give her the recipe. I said, yes, ma'am. So she gave her the recipe for the turkey wings. And then so we had turkey wings, and then she roasted some asparagus. Um and then I made and then for dessert she made a banana pudding, which was delicious. And I made the yams. Now, and she made macaroni and cheese. Now, here's the deal with the macaroni and cheese. My mama didn't give her the recipe for the macaroni and cheese. I'm gonna get in trouble. So now my daughters have my recipe, have my mama's recipe for the macaroni and cheese. So it got passed down. Now, I don't think Amina wants the recipe for the macaroni and cheese though. Like Amina makes her own macaroni and cheese, and her macaroni and cheese is good, very good. But it's not my mama's. Now, no. I'm not criticizing her macaroni and cheese. It's just not my mama's. That's all, right? And I thoroughly enjoy Amina's macaroni and cheese, thoroughly. But it's just not my mama's. So when I end the show today, I'm going to my mama's because she got some macaroni and cheese for me. Now I still have Amina's here, and I'll eat that too. But at Thanksgiving, I got to have my mama's too. Now, I know that Amina and I are getting married, and the Bible says what? You leave and you cleave. But I can't leave. But I can't leave the macaroni and cheese.
You just want to cheese.
I can't leave the macaroni and cheese. Now, so I have to work that out. But that's for me to work out. And I don't think Amina's offended by it. Because I do love her. I'm telling you, she makes a slamming macaroni and cheese. I'm simply saying it's not my mama's.
Yes, that is the downside of the holidays, is that you go to those things which you're familiar with, like mom's macaroni and cheese, your aunt's dressing or stuffing, that sweet potato pie, and those traditional yams. So when you get married and your spouse just doesn't make it like the family, it just sort of takes a little bit of that experience away from you.
Yeah, but again, I'm not being critical. I'm just making an observation. Truthfully, I love Amina's macaroni and cheese. I love it.
This is the seventh time you've said it.
Yeah, I'm just saying that that my mother makes it differently. And my lifetime, I've enjoyed hers, so now I get both, and I'll always have my mama's because she's my favorite girl. So my daughters can make it for me, and it freezes well, so they could freeze it and ship it to me. I don't care where they are in the world. Get me mama's macaroni and cheese, and then I'm going to my stepmama. Because she is a culinary artiste extraordinaire. Yes. Now I'll tell you, see, my mama, she follows very strict recipe for her macaroni and cheese. She's formulated it because she wants consistency. My stepmother is such a culinary artiste extraordinaire that her ability to create melodies in the kitchen, right, with spices and such. She doesn't follow recipes. She just knows. And so she made a duck stew that I'm going to go buy and get today. My brother made a beer can chicken, and I'm gonna get some of that. And Rasul is an amazing cook as well. So I got some driving around to do today to pick up stuff. So I'm gonna come back with a plate, and I'll take a picture of it and I'll post it.
You gonna come back with a cooler full.
Hey, listen, man. So I'm looking forward to going out and collecting today.
So tune in Monday to find out why Eric is no longer invited over certain family members for mac and cheese.
No. Listen, look, there's certain things you just don't do to mac and cheese. So I could eat other people's mac and cheese. Like Diane, what's the Mama's, right? The Soulful place on Springfield Avenue. I love their macaroni and cheese. Now, there's some restaurants, I'm not going to mention the name of them, but I've had the mac and cheese and no. Yeah. Do not put breadcrumbs on the macaroni and cheese. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it to yourself or to me.
Don't do it.
Yeah. You know, macaroni and cheese, I don't think, I think there's certain cheeses that don't belong in macaroni and cheese. Right? Now, there's some people who make a roux.
Yeah.
With their cheese. And then they fold the macaroni into
the roux. Yeah.
Into the roux. I'm not a big fan of that. I prefer and I'm not a big fan of, and my mama doesn't do it.
Of course not.
I'm gonna tell you guys this, like the pre-shredded cheese is not the best cheese to use. And you know why, guys? Because that cheese is coated, and that's why it doesn't stick together. So if you go buy a packet of pre-shredded cheese, you notice that they don't stick together. It's because they coat it, and then it doesn't melt the same. If you get the blocks of cheese and you shred it yourself, you notice how it will clump together, right? Because it's not coated. And so it will melt properly. Hello.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So my mama, she sits there because people request her macaroni and cheese during the holiday season, and she shreds and shreds and shreds. And so all the love.
Yes. Bring the love back to the mac and cheese.
That's
Hallelujah.
Right. And then when she shredded it, you hear
Yes. Yeah, you start salivating once you start humming. Coming.
Yeah, man. Then them slippers be sliding across the floor. She make her way to the refrigerator, get the eggs.
Yes, Lord.
What?
Tell me, how does Amina make her macaroni and cheese?
Well, so Amina, sometimes she'll shred, sometimes she won't, depending upon the amount of time she has. So I don't know if she I can find out. I don't know if she shredded or not. She uses sharp cheddar, and she uses a white cheese, right? So you get this the color shift. She puts, I believe she puts a little bit of sour cream in her macaroni and cheese.
Okay, now I'm not in.
I believe she puts a little sour cream in there, because it adds to the richness of it. Like,
okay, I think you need to stop and let her explain it herself. Let's move on to the next subject.
Now my mother. Now wait a minute. Now my dad used to make an amazing macaroni and cheese, and he put canned milk. He would use a little tomato sauce. Not tomato sauce, tomato soup. That's
a new dynamic for
right.
Me.
And the tomato soup, it added an interesting flavor, but it created this rich color. Right?
Golden.
Yes, exactly, Vincent. Exactly. So it wasn't yellow; it was gold. And then he would let it like crust on the top. So you had these like real rich colors in it. And my mother, she uses does she just use whole milk? I gotta find out. But anyway, And then like I said, I did the yams. I did.
Yeah. Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
So
let's get ready to rumble.
So Diane.
Picture up for them white people yams.
Diane affectionately refers to my. Diane affectionately refers to my yams as white people yams. Now. Now. My.
He's still working in the kitchen. He ain't been out in the fields lately.
Why
So.
don't we post the pictures of those yams?
Well, I sent them to you. Go ahead and put them up, Vincent.
All right.
So so my seasonings, I think I told you all. I use allspice, nutmeg, cinnamon, ground ginger powder, brown sugar.
Brown sugar,
I use melanated sugar. and I use Caucasian sugar.
So yours is full of diabetes.
Be using those colonizer stuff.
I use white sugar and I use brown sugar.
Okay.
Right? And vanilla.
And vanilla, yes.
Right? So that's what I use those are the ingredients for my yams. Now, what I do is I take all of those ingredients and I put them in a pot, in a pan. And so my sister and my brother-in-law can eat them. I use plant-based butter.
Okay.
You can't taste the difference. So I use plant-based butter. So a stick of butter and then all of those ingredients. I can give you guys the measurements if you want. But I put it all in a pan and I cook it, like I let it all like combine and get bubbly, right? And I've already prepared my yams. Now I don't boil my yams ahead of time. I just peel them and I cut them, put them in a half pan, and then I pour that mixture over my yams, and then I gently, toss them to make sure that each and every sliced yam gets, some of that in it. Then I cover it with aluminum foil, put it in the oven for 40 minutes. At the end of the 40 minutes, I take it out, I toss them again, put them back in, covered for another 40 minutes, and then they're done.
Gotcha.
That's it.
So I boil mine first, and then I slice mine, and I do mostly the same ingredients you had, and pour it over, mix them, and I let mine sit and marinate overnight, and then I put them in the oven the next day.
So wait a minute. So
marinating in it, brining in it. Go
so
ahead, Dad.
wait a minute. So how do you so you with all of your seasonings and stuff?
I melt the seasonings. I pour it over.
Oh, okay. And then you just let it sit overnight.
Down, and then it marinates overnight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I boil and bake, and you bake twice. Yeah.
Yeah, I bake it twice. And then now what I do, because some people like a thicker syrup from the yams, right? But because the yams yield a lot of water when you cook them, right? The juice or syrup will be watery. You can thicken that up with a little cornstarch, right? So if you'd like to have, how sometimes you get the yams and the syrup just kind of sticks to the yams, that kind of sticks on there. I'm not a fan of that. But for those who are, it's just a little a cornstarch will thicken that up for you. And that's it. That's it. So why are my yams white people yams, Diane?
Because they cut up with a sharp knife when us in the field and have them.
There we go.
Because then.
And yours, like I said before, yours don't look like the kind of yams that a woman would eat and be able to breastfeed no babies.
So you know what? Hey, Diane. So there was a guy. Somebody posted on Facebook yesterday. I thought it was disrespectful and funny at the same time. You know, you see something and you're like, oh, but yeah, you get it. So he said, I don't want to have yams or like coconut cake cooked by somebody who doesn't have arms like this. And it was like, like the big chunk of fat on the back of the tricep. The big old arms that some women have. And he posted that up there, and I said, man, but I get it, because some of those women, especially church women, were some of the best cooks, right? That fried chicken and yams and the coconut cake and the yellow cake with chocolate frosting. So so I don't know. Do you search them out by checking out the ankles and the and
There you go.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah, gotta be made by Big Mama.
Uh,
She gotta have her.
See, Jody said she saw it and she got it too.
Across the kitchen.
So Jody, is that disrespectful? So Jody saw that meme. Is that disrespectful, or do you understand? Like, cause that woman, that was a signature, and she had a muumuu. She had a muumuu on, and
There you go.
but you knew. Listen, I'm gonna tell you. Would you rather have her cooking it, or some skinny woman that looked like olive oil?
Well,
See?
no.
Come,
Well,
what?
like, I'm thinking about all the women in my family that cooked, and ain't nobody was skinny.
That
is not even a complete sentence.
But that's what I'm saying. So is it disrespect? Is it disrespectful to stereotype what you believe? Like, if you closed your eyes and said, you know what, I'm gonna have like the most amazing down south meal, like the fried chicken, like the whole thing. And then if you said, what does that woman look like who's cooking that? What does she look like? What does she look like?
What does she look like to you, Eric?
I just told you.
For the women without putting a name to the title.
I just told you.
That were good cooks.
I just told you. She wasn't physically fit. I'm telling you.
You didn't know where her breast and her stomach began.
Yo, you know what I mean? Like, listen, she's in that kitchen.
She got the big thick ankles.
Yo, Diane, she was in there adjusting that muumuu, adjusting that bra. Sometimes she had to take that thing off. Look, Diane, she had to take that over the shoulder boulder.
Or she got the muumuu open and all you can see is her girdle.
Yo, she had to take that over the shoulder boulder holder off.
She got it off.
She said,
my great aunt had long brown fingernails. My pop, when she used to live in New York, she was a maid for somebody in New York. And when we go get her on the weekends, me and my mom, she come back, my father be like, yes, she's coming to make some biscuits.
See? That's what I'm saying.
And she better add some buttermilk.
Listen.
Yes.
I'm telling you, there was, you know, I mean, I'm just saying. Listen, when my grandmother would go in the kitchen to cook, and same thing, Diane, she cooked for, she spent a lot of her time, I guess they called them a domestic, right? Cooking for rich folks up in West Orange and Livingston and all those places, right? And then she would come back home and she, make dinner for us, and she had that jacket. Well, what was it? It was like a not a house coat. It was like a kitchen, like a thing that she would put on. It was like you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And she put that thing on, man, and when she put it on, you knew it was about to go down. You knew.
Yes.
You knew. Yeah, that's right. And Jody said with the big food stain T-shirt. That's absolutely. That's it. You knew. You knew. See, I don't.
My grandmother had that house coat, the blue one, the blue velvet one that had the colors at the top.
Yes. Diane, with the piping in the front. Yes. Yes.
Oh man.
Yes. Come on now. If you didn't have, look, you can't go in and make me no buttermilk biscuits unless you had that on. It was almost like like a diploma, right? Like you had that. That was your, like a chef when you graduate culinary arts school, right? You get a set of knives and you have your chef's coat. You have your stuff. See, Big Mama she got those things. She had to have them. Without them, it just wasn't gonna be the same. And in everything she made, everything.
That's right. You know it's done when she come out there and she got that flour stain on her.
That rag over her shoulder.
Yeah.
Come on.
That one brush that just won't stay in the brush.
The whole house smell like good stuff.
Oh yes.
Like the whole week, not just a day. The whole week.
The whole week.
The whole week. My aunt used to make a rum cake and started like in the summertime. Oh my God. It was so good. And so full of liquor.
Oh man. So yo, I just found a good well, I haven't tasted it, but I'm gonna make it. It is a Hennessy. What was the name of it? It was a Hennessy. Was it a Hennessy pineapple upside down?
Oh gosh.
Cake.
Trying to kill us.
I'm
trying to kill us. That sounds good. Now do you have themes when the holidays come? Themes like.
Oh wait a minute. Yes, a Hennessy butter pineapple upside down pound cake.
Oh.
Now.
That sounds like you need a breathalyzer after you eat the cake.
Yeah. And the girl who was making it, she was acting like Julia. Remember Julia Childs?
Okay.
Right? Like, yo.
Oh God! I just cut my finger and it's bleeding all into the pie.
But that's okay. Just get a wine, any wine you want. Don't worry about pairing it with anything. Just drink it.
Just drink your wine and it'll cut the bleeding.
And if it continues to bleed, it doesn't matter because you won't feel it anyway. Yo, listen, that's how this girl was making this thing, man. She didn't have a measuring cup when she was pouring that Hennessy in there. I said, ooh. She just pouring. But anyway, I'm going to make it. I may make it this weekend and see how that tastes.
Well, my girlfriend made this weekend, she made 3 dishes with Jack Daniels. She did yams with Jack Daniels. She did her ham glaze with Jack Daniels.
Oh, yeah.
Everything that she did with Jack Daniels.
She drank Jack Daniels.
I do ribs in the barbecue sauce with Jack Daniels.
The norm, the ribs thing, yeah.
So I think I'm going to do that ham in the glaze with the Jack Daniels. That's a great idea.
I'm sure it came out good because she's a good cook, so.
Then
I do shrimp with it. I do Hennessy with shrimp.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Then I saw a sweet potato pie recipe that I'm going to try.
Really, what's in it?
They use condensed milk. Sweetened condensed milk.
Extra sweet.
No. So they don't use white sugar. Right?
What?
They use a little brown sugar in it. And it looks really like it looks good.
Looks can be deceiving.
No, they can be. So but I looked at all the other ingredients in it, and I know what consistency you wind up with when you use sweetened condensed milk. So I'm imagining it's just gonna make that sweet potato pie a little creamier. You know what I mean? So
It's gonna make it heavy.
No.
Yeah.
All right, we'll try.
I'm gonna try it. And then that's it. So because I wanna I want to. I like being in the bakery and just being able to just try different things. So so I'm gonna do that.
But Eric, I'm gonna tell you, you know how you are with the Mama's macaroni and cheese?
Uh huh.
That's how I am with sweet potato pie. I mean, yeah, it's got to be. That's one thing. That and banana pudding. If it ain't like Mama's, I'm not interested.
So let me ask you a question. So they're doing things with banana pudding now, right? So they went from the vanilla wafer to the chessmen cookies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then some people now don't even put bananas in the banana pudding anymore. They use
Then,
banana pudding itself, like instead of vanilla pudding, because they used to do the vanilla pudding right with bananas. Now they just use banana pudding.
now, see, my mother does the combination of the vanilla pudding and the banana pudding.
I know some people also use the French vanilla pudding.
Really? Mm. Yeah. And see, the thing about the chessmen cookies is that they get too soft too fast.
See, I don't think they get soft fast enough. I think that they stay crunchy, and then it just messes up the consistency, which should be smooth,
Right.
right? And I like the way that the vanilla wafer just kind of blends in. You kind of taste it; it's there. Just kind of melts in your mouth. The chessmen
Yeah.
cookies, especially when they layer them on top, right? It looks
Yeah.
nice, but then you got a cookie and you got pudding, and I just don't think that consistency works.
Right. Changes up the texture.
Yeah, it changes up the texture. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Vincent. Texture.
Yeah, that culinary school thing is paying off for me.
But I found a really good can't remember the woman's name. Dahlia. So I'll mention her because I was in one of the local stores and they had a banana pudding in there, and she's local. No, she's in Trenton actually. And I think it's Dahlia's Dahlia's Sensation. No, Dahlia's Sweet Sensation.com. And it's sensation, sensation.com. But that banana pudding was the bomb. She did a great job. I would buy it again.
Yeah.
And black owned.
So, speaking of holidays, the CDC gave an estimate of the surge just from the holidays.
Oh, God.
With, yes, over 3 million travelers just for Thanksgiving. And people who did not adhere to small gatherings with just immediate families, they said that the surge would get us to the final numbers would reach by the 12th of December. They're estimating possibly 312,000 deaths.
Right. And you know what's going to happen? Understand this. So you're going to have 312,000 deaths, but think about the number of people you're going to have who will have contracted it, right? And now you're going into the Christmas season, right? So today, Black Friday, people are going to be out shopping, right? They're going to be infecting other people, right? Today. And then throughout the holiday season, as they shop, they're going to be infecting more and more people.
Correct. So the people who got infected through the holiday parties, through the Thanksgiving parties, or who are infected and now carriers and spreaders will go do their Black Friday shopping, infecting more people and spreading. And that's how they're attributing to such a mass number. I mean, just one holiday will equate to the death toll that what we have today.
Right, but this is why I said to you before, Vincent, remember, during the election, I was saying, you can't blame all these deaths on Donald Trump, right? Remember, I kept saying that. I said, you got to look at the people, right? You got to look at what they're doing, how they're behaving irresponsibly. You got to look at the local governments and what they're not doing or what they're doing irresponsibly. But when people were saying, and I want to say, so look at how the narrative now is shifting, right? To now focusing on the people. But before, the narrative coming through the media was that this was Donald Trump's 200,000 deaths,
Death.
right? You know, see, it's people. It's
Well,
people. People not adhering. People.
It's a combination, Eric.
No, I'm not saying it's not. But I've always said it was a combination. But people were saying, including you and the media, Donald Trump has 200,000 deaths on his head. And that wasn't true. Wasn't true then. It's not true now. And that was a narrative that I kept saying, stop pushing. It's people. And until you hold people responsible, and so what we did was let the people off the hook, and we laid it on the feet of Donald Trump. And I kept saying, no, let's put the blame where it belongs. Let's assign it to the people who are holding these super spreader events. Let's put the blame on the people who are not putting on their masks. Let's put the blame. Let's not give them a pass and say, well, at the national level, because Donald Trump is saying this is why these people are doing that. No.
No, Eric, and let me be clear, because I really hate revisiting that rabbit hole, but this is it in its entirety. When the virus hit, okay, now, yes, you are right. People have the greatest responsibility for their own safety and welfare, and that is 100% true. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Now, when you look at it in terms of actual fixing the blame, yes, people have a level of culpability, but you also have to look at the leadership who had the greatest responsibility to curb, stop, and quash as much as possible. And that's where Donald Trump's ignoring the virus came into play. Now, nobody is saying that he is a lot of people are saying that, yes, because of that inaction, he has a huge level of responsibility. But yes, you also have to people have to take responsibility for their own lives as well.
Right. And that's all I was saying, that people have to take responsibility for their own lives. Right?
And we're saying the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we were. I think that we were.
No.
I think that people were doing all they could to try to pile as much as they could on Donald Trump.
Well, people were, but no, that's not something I did, because I said that people need to be responsible. You know, even because of his inactions, you still have to be responsible. Even though he was saying that it's going away, people still have to be responsible. But because of their inactions, yes, it is the inactions of everyone involved, which leads us to this situation that we're in. And it's going to take the actions of everyone to quash this. Now, everybody's going all hog wild because, they're saying, okay, the vaccine's coming. Please, between now and the time that the vaccine hits, it's still going to take another 6 months for the increased level of herd immunity to take place. That means that a lot of people between that time will die. We are going to stop having to rely upon the government to solve all of our problems when we can do the most common and easiest thing ever: wear a freaking mask.
Well, but that's what I keep saying. Like, I'm not look. At the end of the day, the government's going to do what the government's going to do. They always have. They've done what's in their best interest. The different politicians, right? It is up to individuals, right, to to be adults, right? For adults to be adults, and for them to educate their children, right? To make sure that they're doing the prudent thing. And if they're not, then this is what we wind up with. I was listening to my niece who's home, right? She's a senior at Villanova, and has traveled extensively. And she said, one of the things that America is suffering from is the fact that we, as a nation, don't trust science. That's what she said. She said other nations, she said other places where they're dealing with this is because they trust science.
No, people. We don't trust people, and we no longer trust government. We trusted science before Trump. We never had a problem.
Definitely.
I don't know. That's not true. I don't think we trusted the science. Listen. I think that these anti-vaxxers has wait a minute. I think these anti-vaxxers have always been here. They didn't come just because of Trump, right? All of these organizations that have been out here trumpeting, pardon the pun, this conspiracy that pharma and the medical industry has, and how they're manipulating data and how they're secretly testing on people. That narrative has been here long before Trump. And people, and particularly people in the black people in the black community, have had a distrust. That did not start with Donald Trump.
No, it didn't start with Donald Trump. It was exploited by Donald Trump.
Right,
but difference. Donald Trump did not start racism. He exploited racism. He did not start classism and the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer, and they're using politicians to make more money and enslave more poor people. That didn't start with Trump. No, he exploited that.
And I can't even say that black people distrusted science because of all the experimentations that have been done on us. We don't distrust science. We distrust the people who use the science.
Use the science, exactly.
Because you don't have us standing up saying, oh, we're not going to vaccinate our kids. We're not going to take these cancer remedies and do radiation. You don't hear that. It's the people that are using the science that we don't trust.
And you have to look at black women have emerged heavily in the scientific research and data industry. Black women are the largest producer in the people of color. Black women are the largest patent holders and producers of invention and industrialism. So yeah, we trust science. We don't trust what these people are using the science for. We trust the data, but we don't trust how politicians have been manipulating the data to suit their purpose.
So
I think Diane's right.
Yeah. Anyway, we're in for a world of hurt.
And Dr. Fauci says that this is not going to stop. It's going to go well into Christmas and to New Year's because people are adamant about having their celebrations.
Well, in Philadelphia, they have now closed the bars, especially now coming into the largest drinking holidays in the nation.
Yeah, I saw that. So they're allowing the bars to do takeout? Because Pennsylvania, anyway, isn't the liquor shut down on Sunday at a certain time anyway?
Yeah, Pennsylvania still has blue laws, so there's no alcohol consumption sold on Sundays. But I'm sorry, the liquor stores are not, but bars are allowed to be open Sunday, which is where people pretty much go.
No packaged sale of liquor, right? Yeah.
Right. Because Pennsylvania liquor is controlled by Pennsylvania. They're the only ones that actually sell packaged goods of hard liquor. Now, beer are now, of course, through other distributors, and that is allowed. But liquor itself is controlled by Pennsylvania. It's the second biggest industry that they have. Mm-hmm. But so, shutting down bars kills, the income of the small businesses or the bars and restaurants.
Exactly. So I don't understand why they don't see shutting down is a bigger detriment to businesses instead of saying or pivoting towards carryout only.
Well, carryout
only.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, like why would you completely shut down? I mean, they've done it here in Newark. There are restaurants that are shutting down. There's an article that was done in New Jersey, NewJersey.com about restaurants are dying. And a few restaurants, 3 of them, they did an article on in the city of Newark, how they're working with the city in some type of Newark plan where they're able to provide meals for the homeless and be paid through the city. So the city is paying the restaurants to create these meals and stuff like that. But if those 3 restaurants are the only 3 that are able to benefit from this, you have a whole bunch of other restaurants that are just going to die and never come back.
Well,
and I don't
yeah.
understand why, especially yesterday, there were tons of restaurants that were closed. I don't understand why they just don't have a strict carry out only. No patrons inside, carry out only. Carry out, or meaning pick up at the door, not coming inside, or take or delivery service.
Yeah, well, the theory is this, and you are right, because that could do it. Then we go into further down that rabbit hole, and it's called the bigger idiot theory, and that is when people get together and the greatest minds get together to make something completely idiot proof, they find out that there's a bigger idiot. The thing about the carryout, and Eric talked about it on the show, is that went to a carryout, and even though it's carryout only, there are people gathering in the carryout area, and they're not keeping distance and not even wearing masks.
And that's why I'm saying carry out outside. You don't get to come and sit inside. Sit in your car. We call you. You come.
No. What Vincent is saying is this.
Yeah.
Vincent is saying that, uh, for instance, there's a Soulful restaurant downtown Newark, right? So they actually reconstructed during the first wave the store, and they actually built a cutout window, right? So that you walk up from the sidewalk to the window, and you place your order, and you get your food. What Vincent is saying is that on that sidewalk, they're not socially distancing. So you might have 25 people who are gathered there to get their food. So yes, they're not going inside the restaurant anymore, but they're not social distancing on the sidewalk. So you still have the opportunity for a super spreader, because that restaurant now has, because it's open, you have 20 people congregating, not social distancing, wearing their face masks as chin straps on the sidewalk. You see what I'm saying? And how do you?
And here's the theory of that. It takes one person to come up to that person taking the money without a mask or infected to infect the cashier, who now infects everybody in that line.
Right. And so when people say, and this is why, I was so live and still am with folks in our community who go around and they try to compare this to the flu, right? This is way more contagious. And that was the whole issue, right? How contagious it was, and the fact that because of this, not looking at what's happening now, but the projection of infected and the projected number of deaths if we did not adhere to the science. And so now here we are. And all of those loudmouth people who are shoving money in their pockets, hand over fist, spreading this a false narrative about this being fake news, right? Where are they now as this thing is going on? And see, these guys will, and gals, because it's not just men, it's women too who are involved in this stuff. They won't stop until until we reach catastrophic numbers, and then I fear that they won't stop then either.
Mm-hmm. No, because the want for them to make money outweighs the want for people to be safe, and that's the big killer with this. I mean, we're looking at right now, Congress has been back and they've taken a break. They could have gotten back and said, okay, let's now send that second economic package that we've been holding off on. That includes things like reinvesting or giving the additional funds for people on unemployment. Now that another 300,000 people have filed for unemployment. I'm sorry, 3 point something million have filed for unemployment. Let's look at part of that bill that gives relief for landlords who haven't been getting their rents. And especially in New Jersey, where the governor has halted the eviction process and foreclosure process. Let's look at, people who own properties who need that relief money so that they can, stop getting those phone calls from their mortgage company. Let's look at, people who I mean, we're talking about this country, this Thanksgiving, was people in mass numbers came out for free food because they just don't have the money for Thanksgiving.
Man, I got to tell you, Vincent, you were so right. I was heartbroken as I drove through the urban communities in Essex County, um, and saw the lines outside of churches wrapped around the block. Wrapped around the block. And I'm telling you, all I could think about in the year 2020 is what Dr. King said in 1952. Well, he said that this is unacceptable. That in the richest country, you have 40 million poor people. And here we are in 2020. And you got people lined up, wrapped around the block. And this is what I say, like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
It's not just in Newark, in that area. I mean, I'm in Voorhees, Mount Laurel, Mount Morristown. I mean, we're talking about rich communities where, people were in their cars, and stretching miles, to drive up to the church and get their food donations. No, people are hurting. And we've got these politicians who can alleviate that at some point in time. They didn't have a problem giving these billions of dollars to these large corporations. Yet they struggle and fight and put on the table things that can help the common man. That has to stop. I cannot say it enough. That, if this isn't a slap in the face to America, both black and white, that we have been sitting up here re-electing the same people who have been doing nothing for us. Now I know.
Well, but you have this narrative that's out there, right? And the narrative was pushed during the campaign. We want government out of our lives. We don't want government, but we want government to step back. We want, and people not really understanding the role of government. The role of government. And so this idea that democratic socialism isn't a necessary thing is why we're in the predicament that we're in. It is necessary. It is necessary. And people are still pushing against their own interests.
Well,
right? So some of those people who are in Voorhees or wherever they are, right, as they're lined up for food, they're still saying, we don't want to be a socialist. So we're down with socialism. Down with socialism. Right?
See, they keep pushing the false narrative of democratic socialism, in which they equate it to communism.
Right. That's absolutely right.
And they're total different things. I mean, what do we call it? I mean, and then the huge thing in the 80s was the stigmatism of, political of welfare, in which, let's look at it, part of that welfare bailed out all of these corporations through the savings and loan, the mortgage bailout, the housing, all of that. So when they get it to large corporations, it's called, economic aid. But when they give it to the common man, it's welfare. It's socialism.
Yeah.
Bull crap has to stop.
Yeah.
We have to stop letting people dictate the narratives and use linguistics to change the actual dynamics of what the government truly, one of the biggest functions that the government should do.
Right, but you know what? And I talked about this before, and we've talked about it on the show. It's all messaging. Every
Right.
single second of every day, you have think tanks that are funded by these oligarchs who continue to reshape the messaging. We went from global warming to climate change, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was something that was
Oh,
concocted in a think
here.
tank.
What about the messaging that happened in the 80s and the 90s? Remember clean coal and pork, the other white meat?
Yeah. So these are all things, and so now this idea of because we can educate folks if they wanted to. We can educate folks on what democratic socialism is, what the real role of government is, and then folks, you can manage expectations based on that re-education of what government is supposed to do, why they're there. But when you have these people who are collecting $100,000+ salaries, getting the best health care that this country has to offer, and you've got lines of people wrapped around the block because of the food insecurity that exists here, you got to say, what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on?
Mm. Well, what's going on is this. We've got, in terms of the people who have the greatest power to make changes and to give us relief, well, let's see. We've got the Democrats blaming the Republicans blaming the Democrats, and we've got both of those leaders stalling in that political bullcrap and rhetoric that now hurts the common man.
No, they're doing business as usual. You got people sitting back waiting for them to solve their problems, and they aren't pushing them to do what they want them to do.
Yeah.
So they're politically inept as to what they should be doing. Instead of them saying they should be giving us this, they should be doing this, they aren't doing anything. They aren't making phone calls. They aren't writing letters. They aren't sending emails. They aren't going down there knocking on their doors. They're doing nothing. So they basically sat back and waited for them to figure it out and complained and grumbled. That's the problem. They're going to keep doing what they, whatever, because they're fine. They're getting free health care. They're getting free checks from us. They're making money off of the deals on the back end with the deals that they're setting up with bids and contracts. So they're fine. And we're allowing them to be fine because we're not taking action.
We're not holding them accountable.
And they anticipate that, and they know it. This is why I'll still always go back to the Black Lives Matter march. It meant nothing because there was nothing that was coming with it except screaming and hollering. That's it. You did not demand them to do anything, and then you stop that. You put no demands on them. So why would they do anything? I don't blame them. I would just let them get it blow over. And it did.
Yet now they're attacking the one movement that has been pushing for the demands. They have now attacked the progressives. They have now gone after AOC. And here's the thing: it's not the Republicans that are going after it; it's the Democrats.
But I told you that was going to happen, didn't I? I said, what did I tell you? I said, listen, this whole kumbaya thing, it ain't really that. Yeah, I said Nancy Pelosi and those folks in power in the Democratic Party, they see a threat to their existence and their status quo way of doing things. They see the threat and they want to eliminate that. So they said the friend of the enemy. What's the saying go?
The enemy of my enemy
is my friend, right? So they looked and said, well, AOC and all the rest of these guys, they and Bernie Sanders, they all want to get rid of Donald Trump, right? So we're gonna align with them only in that effort. Only in that effort. Then we're going to go back to business as usual and try to destroy them. And that's exactly what, and that's why I said, to me, wasn't about Donald Trump. Because in the end, those people who are now trying to destroy the progressive wing of the party are the reason, are part of the reason why Donald Trump was allowed to elevate to president of the United States. And so they're not trying to change that. And so he was just a, a symptom of this disease. And so we're going to have more crop up. How do you think that's not going to happen? You had 72 million people vote in that direction. And then these guys over here are not interested in changing anything.
And not even that, the people that voted for Democrat, when you talk to many of them, they didn't vote for Biden. They voted against Trump.
That's my point, Diane. That's exactly my point.
So they're still angry and sitting on the fence.
Well, you also have to look at 73% of the Republicans that voted for Biden because they were voting against Trump. I'm sorry,
Right.
23%.
Right. And so my point to you is this. So now Trump's out of the picture. So let's say the name Trump, but the discontent still exists. So now you move Trump out, right? But it's still a recipe for disaster.
Well, it's the simple fact that the discontent was always there. Trump brought a distraction to their discontent, and it allowed them to rally.
Now, I don't think he brought a distraction. I think he brought a focus to their discontent. He brought a focus. They were able to focus in and say, okay, here's a way. Because what did he say at the end? What do you all have to lose? You ain't getting shit from these people anyway. What do you have to lose?
Right.
That's right. And so then people focused on what they weren't getting. And they said, maybe we'll get it here. And what I'm saying to you is this, that we're still not going to get anything from the do-nothing people who are promoting the same do-nothing shit, right? That's absolutely right. So the discontent is going to continue. And what you're going to have is you're going to have somebody else who's going to rise up and they're going to say the same thing. Hey, you're still not getting anything from those people. What do you have to lose? Give me a shot.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And then they gave him a shot, or like they gave Donald Trump a shot. And
hold on, let me see if this is a call. Somebody's been trying to... Hello?
This is an urgent message.
Hello? Diane?
I'm here.
Okay, you guys are back. The telemarketer. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I put 35 different blocks on my phone a day on an average.
Oh my gosh, like literally my phone is just going off, I'm fearing they're all telemarketers. So guys, if you're trying to call in, I apologize. Go ahead, Vincent.
Well, no, the entire thing is this. Okay, now we accomplished the goal of getting Donald Trump out. Now, what do we do next? We've got all of these issues lined up that we need to address immediately. What do we do next? And I think that... Go ahead.
We should be putting pressure on those coming in. But see, we didn't negotiate with them for our vote. So they don't owe us anything. They don't owe us anything. We can put pressure on them, but they owe us nothing. Because when people came forward to even bring up conversation about the black needs, they were shut down. How dare they try to represent us? How dare they say something for us? So we can go to the table, but they don't owe us anything because we've never had the conversation about what you're going to get for the vote that we're going to give you.
All right.
So how do you go to somebody and say, you're now the president of the company, and I want a promotion because we're here working for you? Well, why? Go work for somebody else. Go do it for somebody else. That was the problem. And people said, now is not the time to be demanding stuff. Now is not the time.
That's right.
What do you mean? Now is the time.
Well, but I listen. I said nothing was going to fundamentally change, and I'm sticking by that. Nothing is going to fundamentally change. People are going to feel better, right? Because that's what I guess in the end, that's what you were sold, that you want to feel better, that the level of anxiety, right, is unbearable, and so you want to eliminate the anxiety, not eliminate the root cause
Of your anxiety.
of your anxiety, right? You just want to take a pill so that you don't deal. So the thing is still there. You're just taking a pill so you don't feel it anymore. And that was you getting plugged back into the matrix, right? So we are now being reinserted. Understand? We're being reinserted back into the matrix. We're told, listen, what did the guy say? He said, reinsert me and then make me somebody important. So for black people, they said, okay, Black Lives Matter. Right? So now you feel important. Right? But nothing fundamentally changed. We just inserted you and told you that you matter.
So basically, we've been so used to them treating the symptoms and not the disease that we're now looking at, okay, now they're not even addressing the symptoms.
Well, they never
So now
did.
we've got these people
But they
in
didn't.
there.
But during the election, right? We were talking about that. We were saying they're not addressing the disease, right? They're focusing on the symptom. So, right, the symptom was Donald Trump, right? Get rid of Donald Trump. Stop Trump. They were doing it on a local level. Stop Trump. They weren't dealing with the failed schools. They were saying stop Trump. They weren't dealing with the filthy streets. They were saying stop Trump. They weren't dealing with the dirty water. They were saying stop Trump. Then on the national level, they were saying stop Trump. They weren't dealing, with the issues that led to Mr. Floyd's death. They were saying stop Trump. They weren't dealing with the deep-rooted issues that led to Breonna Taylor. They were saying stop Trump. Right? That's what they were doing. And meanwhile, people got caught up. Black people got caught up and emotionalized in this stop Trump thing because they were messaged to and told, in your anxiety level, isn't it high? Look at all those people in Charlottesville who march with torches. Look at the rise in this. Look at the verbiage that's coming out of, look at all of this, guys. Come on, gather, galvanize. Let's stop Trump. And then black people did it. And then you had some black people who were woke. And then you had black Negro whisperers saying, hey, to hell with these woke people. Right? That's what they were saying, right? It wasn't even former President Obama who criticized woke people. Right? Let's all lull them back to sleep. Let's just stop Trump. Let's just stop Trump. Let's not have this conversation now about black people. Let's just stop Trump. And now, black people are here, like Diane said, because you didn't understand your position.
People who tried to wake you up.
That's right.
Saying this is not the time. You're a Trump fan. You're a this, you're that. No, I just see a little differently than what you see. It's one of those things, Eric. Even if you're on the inside and you tell people exactly what's going to happen, they still don't believe you. So you get to the point that you're like, why send somebody of what is when I know what will be? It's like in a radiator, when you tell them don't touch the stove or touch the radiator that's hot, and they keep doing it, you say, look, they got to get themselves because they're not listening.
You're going to learn today.
People are stuck in the way of, I'll figure it out for myself. There are not a lot of people that will take somebody else's experiences and says, I'm not going to go down that path.
Yes.
People say, let me figure it out for myself. Kids, adults, preteens. Well, you did it. Why can't I figure it out for myself? Okay, we'll go do it then.
Listen, I met a guy yesterday. He's, I think he said he's a kindergarten teacher. In Newark Public Schools. Well, firstly, I want to say to Tave Padilla's family. You saw that, right? Former board member Tay Padilla passed away. Mm-hmm. I want to offer my condolences to his family. Um, you know, but this gentleman is. I'm not going to mention his name, but he. We were talking about the schools in and how they're faring. With trying to work through this stuff, and he said it's horrific. He said it's horrific. And he said that the Newark Board of Education, that they're all inept. That's why I'm not going to mention his name, because he said they're all inept. He said they don't really see, and they're not really interested in listening to the issues that are at hand right now, and how far behind these children are going to be. Right? So you're doing this remote learning, but not taking into consideration all of the nuances that are involved in making it successful.
Right. Well, let's look at what we're dealing with. We're looking at a failing school system that was already failing before the virus. Then the virus hit, and everybody was in a flux of the shutdown. By the time the schools that are in the urban areas, which have a tight or huge budget, but they don't seem to be getting what's quote unquote necessary, decided that they had to make some moves to get some computers and Wi-Fi's and all these things to the students. They dropped the ball with that. So now, what did they do? They said, okay, we're going to pass everybody. Well, there were some people who, because we did talk about the school system failing, that they just passed anyway. So now they're into the new grade, not getting everything from the last grade, and now in a new grade, and the teachers are now fighting with catching them up. We're looking at and talking to a couple of teachers. One most in particular, a second grade teacher, said that I got these children who are not at a second grade reading level, but they're at kindergarten.
Yep. Well, you're also looking at in the public school system when you have older teachers who aren't computer savvy.
That's right.
So when you changed over this system and made it remote, you had a learning curve for the teachers.
Yeah.
Because they're using computers in the school systems, many of them in the public school systems, in the urban school systems. So therefore, they were behind.
Right. And then not only that, Diane, but
they were is if they were on Facebook. If they were on Facebook.
Well, that's what he said yesterday. He said not only the teachers, he said, listen, I didn't have a computer at home. He said, I had to learn this here, right? So you're learning on the job. But beyond that, he said, you have parents who are not computer literate. So now you have a teacher. So these are the nuances I'm talking about. You had a teacher who's just learning, trying to teach a parent who doesn't know, who's trying to teach a kindergartner. Yet, I mean, what are we talking about?
Oh, Eric, I've been interviewing some teachers for an upcoming show, and not only parents aren't computer literate, but parents have now taken over their children's school laptops. The children can't get to class because mom is sitting up there on there, or dad or whoever is at home is sitting up there on their computers that they're supposed to be in class right now, right. Googling, texting, Facebook, whatever they're doing, and the children can't get to school.
Well, I think that's happening, but that may be happening, but I don't know how widespread that is, right? So there may be occurrences of that, but I think the bigger widespread thing is just the lack of knowledge, right, on the part of the parent in terms of how to use technology, the lack of knowledge on the part of the student in terms of how to use technology, younger children who don't have the attention span to sit there, parents who are working at home, right? Because their jobs are now remote because of the coronavirus, trying to figure out how to bifurcate their day to allow the child to be able to do their work, for them to be able to get their work done, right? All of these dynamics are taking place in the house, and then we're not even talking about, because I was on a Zoom call yesterday with Amina's family, which I thought was fantastic. We did a Zoom call with my whole family too, and we had a family prayer before we ate. But anyway, in the Zoom call, she's got a nephew who is a teacher, and he was talking about how some of the households don't have the what do you call the device to be able to get on the internet?
Modems?
No. They give you a hotspot. That they don't have the hotspot, and he was saying that that some households, right, depending upon your level of poverty, you don't get a hotspot. So one of her other nephews who was on said that he had to upgrade his cable because there was not enough bandwidth, right, to have as many people on online like that, right? I mean, you
I
have
had to do that too.
you understand what I'm saying? So right. So now you've got.
Well, let's look at it. I got my wife who works from home. I got my daughter who's in college at home, and me and my business at home. We didn't have the bandwidth.
Yeah. So now you.
Yeah, and that was a $72-$84 a month upgrade.
Right.
Just to get
So imagine. So now you got the student, and then God forbid. A family has 3 kids. So now you got 3 kids that are on 3 different computers that have to have video streaming. Then you've got the parent, and if it's a 2-parent household, and then they're working remotely, they're video streaming, right? So now look at the bandwidth that is being pulled from there. So these are the nuances. And so in more affluent communities, they're able to resolve it. In less affluent communities, they're not. And so we're falling further and further and further and further behind. And this is what I'm going to say. And so now it's exacerbated by the fact that in these communities, you have folks who are not even looking and saying, you know what, I'm playing a part in this by not socially distancing, by not doing anything. So I'm prolonging it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm prolonging this.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you are. You are causing to the deterioration of you're causing the deterioration cycle of your household.
Of your community, not just your household, of your no. See, I want to extend it beyond the household, Vincent. They're they are actively participating in the deterioration and the destruction of their community, of their entire community. Your actions, your single action, because you're so goddamn selfish.
I agree 100% of that. I agree. Because you're so freaking selfish. Because it's such an inconvenience for you to put on a freaking mask. You're absolutely right.
It's crazy, man. And so I'm telling you, they're going to read about this in history books. In history books, our grandchildren are going to read about this, and you're going to see in the end that there's going to be this chasm between affluent communities and the non-affluent communities in terms of education and in terms of wealth building and all these other kinds of things. This is going to be the genesis of it, of a new transference of economic power.
So the great divide is dividing more.
Right, and we're actively participating in it. We're actively participating in our own demise.
Yes. So, and I want to thank all of those people who voted for those do nothing politicians, for our present state, because not only because we're contributing to them continuing being in power and doing nothing. I want to thank all those people who don't write or make phone calls to get on these people and hold them accountable for what they promised in their collection, in their election, because you are contributing to this downfall of the black society. I want to thank all of those Negro whisperers who sit back and say all of those stupid things, like what you got to lose. He ain't ever do nothing to hurt us. I like him. He comes to all of our chicken dinners we have for fundraisers because you are contributing to the situation that you're in now. So, thank you, you dumb mother. Okay, let's move on.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, what else is going on? Do we have any good news? Any good stuff going on?
Diane, how did your show go Saturday?
Wonderful. I had a young lady that talked about homemade soap, her soap business, and body butters. So it was good.
Where's she selling from?
I'm sorry, what did you say, Eric?
Where's she selling from? Online?
She sells online. She's on Instagram. The business is KWB Homemade Soaps. She also has a website. Basically, word of mouth and Instagram.
Okay, how's she doing?
She's doing good. She said she's literally just launched the business maybe a couple of months ago. She's been working on it for 2 years, selling to just family and friends through word of mouth. And now it's expanding, so she's doing well. She has some vegan options as well as some really great soaps. Some really great soaps and stuff. So, yeah.
Okay.
We were in Hawaii, and there was this woman who made some homemade soaps, and they smelled good. I mean, my wife was buying a lot of it, so yeah, I gotta introduce my wife to that website.
Now, did she bar soaps or body wash? Diane? Oh.
Oh, Diane, hello.
Yeah, I wonder if she does bar soaps or body washes. But I wish her well.
Yes. By the way, Eric,
What's up?
My show that you really set on fire last Thursday. I take down notes and stuff of comments that people make.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were like, man, I don't know what woke Eric up, but keep feeding it to him.
Listen, I am. I'm looking for, and I think I might have found one, but I'm looking for an embroiderer. I'm looking for somebody who can embroider a patch for me, and then I'm looking for somebody who can sew a patch on a hat for me, so that we can move forward in launching this brand. So if anybody knows, and I'm looking for black owned. So if anybody knows, let me know. But the thing that gets me going, Vincent, is just having a clear understanding of how Black Americans are impacted by every single thing that's going on, right? And that we're for the most part on the sidelines, and we're not being proactive in trying to save our lives. We're being reactionary, and by that time the tsunami has already overtaken us. So, I mean, I'm operating from that perspective.
What kills me is how true Diane's words ring in my ear. Even when we get the information from political insiders, we still do nothing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a deep conditioning, and one of the things that I firmly believe, which is why, unless I just can't physically make it to the show, I try to do the show because I understand that on the other side there is a consistent drumbeat to misinform and miseducate, right? And so the only way to combat that is to have a consistent drumbeat on this side that counteracts that. But because those folks have a greater exposure, right? Their message spreads further. Their misinformation spreads further. And then we're always playing catch up, right? And then beyond that, those folks who seem to be on this side with us, working to unplug folks from the matrix, they're always being enticed by the bounty on that other side, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then a lot of them, well, I was going to say some of them fall prey, but some of them position themselves to be, persuaded to come over to the other side, and then that's what happens. So this balance is always, off kilter, and we're always fighting against it. But we just got to keep going.
The part is that he who does not know and knows that he does not know and does nothing about it is a fool.
Yeah.
And we keep doing that to express to people. We keep beating the drum of unplugging people and showing them and telling them that what is happening and what's going on. Yet they know it, and some of them in the back of their heart know it. Yet, God, I forget the name of the show. They were talking about the people when you were talking about the 70 plus million that voted for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about how now 70 something percent of them feel like Trump got cheated and that the election was fake. They had a psychologist up there, and he broke it down on why they feel that way. He said it's like you're the lover of a sports team, and your team loses, especially a loss by a bad call. Even though they got the big monitors up there showing the call dead to rights, people still galvanize behind that excuse of why they lost. Because you equate to your sports team and that they lost. And for some people, hitching on to certain people, positions, either politics, sports, religion, or whatever the case may be, that level of association. And when they're wrong or when they lose, you feel like you're wrong and you lost.
Right, but you don't remember me talking about that and using sports as an analogy on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
On both sides. So even on the other side, the side that thinks that they won, I said you didn't win. They won. You're not going to get a ring. They're going to get contracts. They're going to get, all the stuff that they want, right? And you, as the fan who got emotionalized in this whole thing, saying we won, right? Vincent, remember me saying this? I said, we go out and buy the expensive jerseys, we buy the expensive hats and the expensive jackets that have that emblazoned on them our team's name and logo and everything else, right? And so we spend all that money. And so in this election, same deal, right? Democrat, right? Proud to wear it. Post it on my Facebook page. Biden Harris, you post that, you buy the lawn sign, you buy the shirt, you buy the hat, you buy the button, you do all of that stuff, right? You contribute in all of that way, right? You fill their coffers, their political coffers up. And then in the end, you yell, "We won!"
Now what?
Right. It's just like the Laker, just like the guys, the people who were voting, rooting for the Lakers. At the end, they say, "We won!" Right? You didn't get an extended contract. Yeah. Right? You didn't get anything. Right? You just got the thrill of being on that team.
And that's the same thing with this election.
That's absolutely right.
We're living vicariously through the candidates.
That's absolutely right. But unless you negotiate something, you didn't win anything.
So unless he actually pulls through and does something, that's going to help, then you're right. We got nothing.
Got nothing. You didn't win anything. How did you win? What did you win? What did you win? Right? What did you win?
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes. Oh, let's see. Although there was a virus, we have almost met the level of fatalities and traffic accidents this Thanksgiving. People were supposed to be sheltering in place, staying at home, keeping it local. Yet we were just 7 points away from the national average of traffic accidents and fatalities due to the holiday. So that basically says that almost everybody went somewhere.
I didn't go anywhere. But I am going to my mama's today to get the macaroni and cheese.
And if it ain't like mine, don't bring it home.
I'm going to get my mama's macaroni and cheese. I'm going to do that.
Oh, hey, and my grandma's buttermilk biscuits.
And my duck stew. I'm going to go do that. Then I'll be back home.
Okay. Let's see. Now, they also said that what's going to come up is going to be a spike and a spike, or the COVID testing going up, or the COVID cases going up. Why? Well, because of the holidays, they had shut down. So, testing facilities shut down and the labs shut down. Now that they're starting back up, you're going to see a spike and then another spike. So it's the spike, which was supposed to be reported, but because of the shutdown, it wasn't. So you're going to see that soon. And now you're going to see the other spike, the results of the post-holiday. That's why they're attributing somewhere close to 300,000 deaths, or projecting somewhere close to 300,000 deaths. So we've got our definitely have our work cut out for us in the next 30 days. And they have decreased the days of being quarantined.
Why? Why'd they do that?
They decreased it to 8 days.
Why
They said that because of the time frame, by the time you actually feel the symptoms, you've already went into, by the time you feel the symptoms, you've already went into 5 to 9 days of being infected. So by the time you get tested, by the time you get your test and the results, you are coming on to the back end, or the actual healing process. So it's no longer needed to be 14 days. They're saying 8 to 10 days.
I think that the 14 days was arbitrary anyway. They just picked the number out the sky. They didn't really have any definitive reason as to why 14 days. And now maybe 9 or 10 days may be adequate. I don't know.
Well, yeah. Also, the 14 days was is in reference to the same way they treat the flu. So if you get it, they quarantine you for 14 days. You let it run. You're no longer a spreader, and then you're able to be around people and starting to feel a little bit better. Yeah, but the 8 or 9 days. I mean, hey, and I guess they're looking at getting people back to work faster.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, so remember, right? So they have to figure out how to balance it all, right? So you have science over here, you have the economists over here. They're saying, how do we do this so that this whole thing doesn't collapse? Because ideally, what we would love to be able to do is shut everything down for whatever those number of days are, right? Let it all die off. But we can't. People have to go to work. People have to pay bills, right? We see that. So they're trying to figure out how to, how to accommodate both things.
So with Thanksgiving gone and Black Friday today, how many people do you think are out there shopping?
A lot.
You think so?
I do. I do. I mean, Diane, this messaging is deeply instilled in us, right? It's like Pavlov's dog, right? You ring the bell and we go do whatever. Right. And so when the bell goes off that it's Black Friday, deals, sales, right? It's a trigger and people just go, right? And they abandon all reason and they just go do it. And you say, why? You say, but what about then you say, well, but, yeah.
Okay, because there's an article. It says the shoppers were waiting in line 8 hours prior to the opening.
Yep.
Black Friday sales at a game store in LaGrange, Kentucky.
Sure.
Walmart opens stores at 5 a.m. on Friday, directing shoppers to turn right upon entering and proceed along main aisles to shop deals before they were paying at the paying register. Best Buy opens at 5 a.m.
Yeah, Jody just posted there were lines at 5 this morning in Atlanta. Yes. Yes. Listen, I'm telling you. Yes. People like the hell with this. They're just, look.
Roger Mustafa, 37, walked out of the Manhattan GameStop with a PS5 in a plastic bag and a huge smile. It cost him $544 and a lot of sleep. He said, I quote, I've been waiting outside GameStop for 2 days.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, you know what? Let's pray that it doesn't cost. Look, let's pray it doesn't cost Mustafa more. Let's pray it doesn't cost him his life in the end, right?
Okay, wait a minute.
Macy's flagship in New York says 77 says she was not afraid to shop because she had COVID-19 antibodies. 77 said, I've been waiting for this day for a long time to buy towels and sheets, everything else that I need. She says, these prices are not Black Friday prices. I came here 2 days ago and the deals were better.
Suckers.
A Target employee, 22-year-old in Lufkin, Texas, says shoppers in his store appeared less concerned about taking precautions to prevent the spread. He says, and I quote, Deep East Texas isn't the type of place where you'll see everyone respecting mask policies or avoiding close contact. So people are out there shopping.
Yeah.
They don't care.
See, but
to know the day after Thanksgiving is the day to start shopping.
So Diane, let us.
And these people are still people struggling to stay in their houses, stay in their apartments, not get evicted. All of these other wow.
So let us change the messaging. So they're not out there shopping; they're out there spreading the virus. See, let's say that. They're out there killing people. Let's say that. They're out there being reckless. Let's say that. See, when you say they're out there shopping, then it seems benign, right? But when you say that they're actively spreading the virus, right? When you say that, because it's true, right? I'm not making that up. They're actively spreading the virus. They're actively participating in reckless and dangerous behavior. They're out there exhibiting selfishness. Let's use those kinds of terms, right? But as long as we simply say, "Oh, they're out there shopping, they're finding deals," then it doesn't really do justice to what they're actually doing.
So here's some more business as usual. Biden picks Anthony Bilkin as his longtime aide as one of his closest foreign policy advisors for Secretary of State.
Yes.
Business as usual.
In fact, a majority of his cabinet is former Clinton, Obama.
And what do you think about that?
I'm disgusted.
No, I'm talking to Vincent. What do you think about that, Vincent? I know how you feel, Diane.
Well, I think that he has been going for a lot of diversity in his cabinet picks, which is true. But I think in a lot of things he went with people who were proven, which is a lot better than what we have been getting from the present administration, who have just been getting people in there just because they're friends. He's gotten in people who know the position and the job, because this is a totally different time. We need skilled and experienced people to get past where we are right now. And if these people can do the job and do it effectively, then hey, I'm all for it. If somebody bright, new, energetic, and idealistic can get in there and do a better job, hey, bring it. But for right now, in the position that he's in, with the diversity of the nation, the diversity of the volatility of the Senate, I think that right now, we need some people in there to just get the job done. And he does not have any room or margins for error with his decisions in moving the country forward. He needs people in there who are going to be able to hit home runs, touchdowns at 1 yard.
That is such a... I tell you, when I listen to that, right, it's, that's why nothing changes. Because it's always a very moderate view. Well, right now, we'll get to the other thing later, but right now, we got to hold the line. We got to, do it like this right now. But it's always right now, we got to do this. And it never gets beyond this, right? So, dust these old people off, bring them back, right? Because right now, yeah.
Yeah, well, let's look at it. He's got Kerry in there. Yeah, and Kerry's well known on the world scale. He's got more people who are immigrants now in his cabinet than ever before. One of the guys was a Cuban refugee who came to the United States.
About Black Americans who built this country. What does that say about their vote they just gave away?
I don't know. What does it say about their vote that they just gave away?
Well, think about Fish Fry Clyburn. He said, hey, y'all don't owe us nothing. I ain't made no demands. That's what he said publicly. He said, what does he owe you? What does he owe you for breathing life into his camp? He don't owe me nothing. He don't owe black people nothing. Right?
His modesty is very much understood. But we who have been in politics know that, a deal was made.
So Bilkin, who has been working with Biden for many years, was his staff director for 6 years. He followed Biden to the White House when he was a senator elected as the vice president, serving as the national security advisor. He served in various capacities in the Obama administration, including the assistant to President Obama, as the president's principal deputy national security advisor. He was again Biden's side when he launched his presidential bid, serving as his key foreign policy advisor for the campaign. So, yeah. So while he may have experience, he's also that old shoe that you need to throw out.
So listen. And hey, Munir, I hope you're staying safe out there, traveling the highways and byways. So Munira says, and she always says this, right? And I typically don't respond, but as we're closing out on this year, finishing one holiday, moving into the next, she asked the question: ask yourself, what solutions you're offering today to uplift Black Americans. So, Munira, here's my solution again, right? So write it down because you keep asking me, right? Those who you won't let die won't let you live. So all of the Black folk, right, who are contributing to helping elect politicians who would do nothing, politicians who support and uplift a government that does not support Black people, they should let them go. There's my solution. Write it down so you don't have to ask me again. Very clear. Very clear. That's what they should do.
She also asked another question I want to address.
What is it?
She said, what Black agenda we pushing to Biden-Harris administration? Okay, in Biden's website, the section that says Lift Every Voice, in which he put together his plans for the Black agenda. And looking at that, and I'm looking to actually hold his feet to the fire. I mean, truly on that agenda.
Right. So here,
moving forward, a lot of it deals with criminal justice reform. It deals with fair housing. It deals with fair banking. It deals a lot with voter.
Vincent, can I ask you a question? Right.
That bill.
Right, but we already know, so people can go and look at what it says. So you don't have to. But here's the question I want to ask you. How do you hold somebody's feet to the fire when you're not operating from a position of power?
Oh, well, first of all, you can't say that we're not operating from a position of power.
Oh, God. Here we go again. Why, Eric, did you say that word? What power? What power?
What power we have? We have the power to basically make the king. It was unequivocally the Black vote that got Biden elected.
Right, but again, so words are important, right? So we were able to influence the election. So and this is how I'm gonna try to explain to you like this, because my dad said this. He said, "Listen, we've learned how to win seats. We haven't learned how to seize power." And so
there you go.
Right. So that's what I'm saying to you, Vincent. So we have no power. We learn how to win a seat. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Well,
Wait.
If you would let me finish.
Go ahead, Vincent.
So now that we've learned that we have that level of influence, now...
Well, that's not what you said. So stop. So don't do that. Because now you're co-opting what I'm saying. No.
Okay, well, now that we know that the Black vote has power, okay, and that we can make kings, now it's time that we go to the next step and demand those things in which he had stated to Black folks that he was going to do, that it happens. Because and then we do that by continually calling, emailing, staying in his face, staying up in his other...
Oh, God. Okay, Vincent. All right.
So much
All right.
Vince. Yeah, I'll tell him, okay, thank you. But to the point where they know us. And when we continue...
As power, then our power died on election day. That's it. It's over.
If that's the way you like to consider it, then fine. But, I'm generally the type of guy that, if you're going to date, if you're going to date me, I like dinner and a movie. And so,
right.
So this is going to be an ongoing thing.
Right. So are you done yet?
If you believe that it died with the vote, then that's what's going to happen. But if you believe that your vote matters and that you can constantly call them to remind them that your vote matters, then that is what will happen.
Okay. Are you done? Okay. So if you believe,
4 minutes, Eric.
If you believe that black people, the ones who voted, a lot of them, that they were told who to vote for, right? Whether it was Stacey Abrams who told them who to vote for, whether it was Fish Fry Clyburn who told them who to vote for, whoever these different surrogates were that were pushed out into the black community to corral black votes, right? And so these people said, oh, yep, I'm going to go and do this. Yep, I'm going to go and do this. And then ultimately the messaging was stop Donald Trump. So it was never about power. It was never about power for the black community. It was always about fighting for somebody else's, issue, right? Somebody else's agenda. And so now you say after the fight is over, because you enlisted me in this, not for me. So we can agree to this, right, Vincent? They didn't enlist black people into the fight to fight for black people's issues, right? They enlisted.
Yes, they did.
Really?
Yes, they did.
Really?
They enlisted black people. Yes, they enlisted black people with the saying and negotiating that this is what we stand for. This is what we will do.
Wait, Vincent. So they didn't enlist black people to come in and because we needed to get rid of Donald Trump first and foremost. That's not what they said.
Oh no. Now,
no, I just asked you a simple question, Vincent. No, I'm asking you a very simple question. Yes or no? Like you can answer yes or no.
One of the narratives was that we have to stop Donald Trump. One of the narratives, but that wasn't the Biden campaign. That was the national campaign. That was basically the spoken and unspoken mantra of a great deal of people. It was not Biden's. Biden enlisted black people with the intention of this is the clear contract of what we want to do. And he put it on his website. And called it Lift Every Voice.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Vincent.
We're out of time for this one, so tune in Monday for round 2 of
Oh, God.
Let's Whoop Vincent Squires Behind.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. You can believe what Vincent is saying, right? But what I'm going to tell you is just watch. See, time is going to be on my side, Vincent. Your narrative is going to fall flat. Their narrative is going to fall flat. Because as time goes on, and then we'll watch and then we'll replay episodes, right? No. Listen. But let me finish. Vincent, you just Vincent, dude. Vincent, but what's gonna happen is, trust me, guys, there are going to be excuses after excuses after excuses as to why nothing is fundamentally transforming for black people over these next 4 years under the Biden-Harris administration. Watch the excuses.
What we are as Black America is not falling for the okie doke of excuses. What we have been doing now.
Oh no, there will be there will be excuses. But listen, we're at the 12 o'clock hour. Black people are getting nothing.
Yep.
Thank you for tuning in.
Stay home. Order online. Amazon's having great Black Friday sales. You can be safe.
Yeah, shop black business.
But wait a minute. So here's listen. Why do you want the Amazon workers to risk their lives? I mean, look.
Right now, there's not a risk. It's a choice that they work. Everybody has choices when it comes to working.
Yeah.
And Amazon is also talking about giving some $300 bonuses to keep them from forming a union. So,
and also Amazon has given away tens of millions in scholarships in black institutions.
All right. So okay, there we go. Thanks for tuning in. Take the money and run. I'll see you guys next week.
Stick and move, baby. Stick and move.
Stick and move. All right, guys. Thank you. Enjoy the weekend.
Love you guys.